Well, thank you for joining us for our third challenge webinar, Challenge Introductions. This webinar will be recorded and the presentation slides will be provided to the email you registered with and will also be uploaded to the challenge website. If you couldn't join us for the last two webinars, these are archived on the challenge website as well. Before we get going, just a few housekeeping notes to go over. If you're an innovation agent on the line, please directly chat with Kyle Pitlow, who will give you presenter capabilities and provide you with further instructions on how to unmute your audio during the introduction section. So on this slide, you'll find information about the audio number. If you're having any difficulty with your audio, please let us know in the chat pod and we'll address those first thing. And please don't hold your questions throughout the webinar. Instead, we ask that when they come up and ask them in the chat pod. We'll address them in the question and answer section at the end of the recap session here. We're going to start with an overview of the challenge, then we'll move on addressing FAQs that have come up since the launch of the challenge. We'll hear from innovation agents on the resources they're supporting solvers with, and we'll give time for additional questions and answers. In the challenge overview, we're going over everything from our expectations for submissions, judging criteria, where you all fit in the challenge, and of course, prizes and timeline. A bit about the origins of the challenge. Safety has consistently been USDOT's top strategic and organizational goal. The DOT created the Safety Data Initiative to support our high priority of reducing highway fatalities and serious injuries. The initiative seeks to strategically prioritize and address transportation safety risks through data-informed decision-making. DOT's vision for the initiative is to integrate data sources with each other and with big data sources that are becoming available to enhance our understanding of crash risk and our ability to mitigate it. The initiative seeks to build DOT's capacity to translate the successes of predictive data analytics tools used by private industry and universities to identify systematic factors contributing to serious crashes. It comprises of three core components: data visualization, data integration, predictive insights. You all can likely guess which component Solving for Safety Visualization Challenge falls in. The challenge. Now, to the reason you're all joining us here today. Why is DOT visualizing transportation safety? We're pursuing data-informed decision-making to help strategically prioritize and address transportation safety risks. One pillar of this approach is data visualization. We're looking for clear, compelling data visualization tools that make data analysis and insights accessible to policymakers, transportation providers, and the public who make safety choices every day. Solving for Safety is designed to advance the use of data visualizations and visual analytics for answering analytical questions related to roadway and rail system safety. Solvers will compete for cash prizes by developing innovative tools to gain insights into fatalities and serious injuries on the U.S. road and rail systems that policymakers, providers, and operators can use to inform the development of safety solutions. We'll go into these components further, but as an overview of the challenge, solvers will choose to develop one of two types of tools. To develop the tools to complement existing USDOT projects while addressing one or more safety-focused areas. Solvers will also focus the tools by designing them for users. Currently, transportation decision makers have a limited number of analytical visualization tools available that reveal insights, and even fewer focus on safety and prevention of serious crashes. A new opportunity lies in the rapid growth and advancement in technology and analytics markets combined with the volume and variety of transportation and other data now collected by the private and private sectors. Analytical visualization tools can cast new light on the data to reveal insights not seen through tabular analysis. Solving for Safety has been created to advance the use of safety data visualization tools for answering analytical questions related to surface transportation system safety. Solvers will choose to develop one of two types of analytical visualization tools. These tools are Discover Insights tool and Scenario Analysis tool. Discover Insights tools, which analyze data to reveal patterns and trends and use compelling visualizations to explain what is happening, understand the meaning behind the data, and draw conclusions. This tool will allow a user to ask a question and search for answers visually. Simulation tool. This one assists in decision-making by visualizing data, mathematical, and statistical models to identify issues, determine correlations, and assign probabilities with a degree of accuracy. Developed using existing models and data, including those provided by USDOT and innovation agents, this type of tool will allow users to visualize the outputs of model simulations and scenarios, highlighting the different conditions and the results of sensitivity and parametric analysis to visually assist in decision-making. We're looking for solvers to bring novel concepts and perspectives to existing models and data to develop these tools that will provide life-saving insights and solutions for transportation safety. Tools can range from dashboards using data sets to spatial analysis via maps, virtual or augmented reality, scenarios, image-and-image analysis, social media mining, and beyond. The tools can be powered by models and data provided by us, challenge innovation agents, and/or resources to which solvers have access to through their organizations, partners, and other sources. You can see a list of sampled data sets and tools recommended by DOT safety experts on the Challenge website. Challenge solvers will develop the tools to complement existing USDOT projects while addressing one or more of the following safety focus areas: vulnerable system users, high-risk factors, and/or conflict points impacts. So with the vulnerable system users, these include non-motorized users such as pedestrians and cyclists, as well as motorcyclists and persons with disabilities or reduced mobility and orientation, such as those with declining vision and hearing. Ongoing work here at USDOT has identified those who are more at risk on the road system, but beyond police reports and behavior research, pieces of the story that can improve how we protect these users are still missing. So with high-risk factors, these include young drivers, impaired drivers, drowsy drivers, older drivers, and speeding drivers. We've identified high-risk factors, but we don't have complete insights on the role of spatial and temporal exposures. And with conflict points impacts, these are locations where paths intersect, including road intersections and railroad crossings. Conflict points are categorized as crossing, merging, and diverging. We're investigating which conflict points correlate most with motor vehicle crashes, but we don't fully understand the difference between near misses and impacts at these points. Challenge solvers will also focus their tool by designing them for use by one of the following audiences: policymakers and influencers, providers or operators, and the public. Policymakers and influencers include people in federal, state, and local government agencies, associations, and industry bodies. They attempt to reduce transportation-related fatalities and serious injuries by analyzing safety data to identify safety risk and recommending a series of strategies, incentives, or disincentives using personnel, funding, or laws and regulations to address them. Providers and operators. These are people in business and government who build and operate the transportation system. These include vehicle and equipment manufacturers, trucking and rail companies, state and local departments of transportation, law enforcement, and emergency services. They attempt to influence in the reduction of transportation-related fatalities and serious injuries by analyzing safety data and designing equipment and facilities, performing system diagnostics, evaluating safety effectiveness, and developing operations, countermeasures, and techniques to reduce fatalities and serious injuries for users of the transportation system. And the public. These are people who use the transportation system or live in the U.S. These include motor vehicle drivers, motor vehicle passengers, bicyclists, and pedestrians. They have an interest in protecting themselves and others in the community who use the transportation system. And the judging criteria. So solving for safety is a three-stage challenge. As solvers advance through the challenge, they'll refine their ideation into a proof of concept and then a full working tool. Accordingly, the judging criteria will become more technical. All submissions will compete against the full pool of entries regardless of the type of tool, safety focus area, or audience being proposed. Now, a pro tip from the judging panel. Make sure your submissions fully address the judging criteria. You can find this in the Federal Register notice on the website, or you can read about the judging criteria straight from the website. We've given a 10-page maximum for the submission, but this is certainly the maximum. We think you can propose your ideation and address the judging criteria just as strongly in approximately 4 pages. And a pro tip from the online application developers. Have all the required documents prepared in advance, as there is no save function and the form will time out after 20 minutes. Now, to the prizes. Solving for Safety can act as an engine in driving serious crash reduction. By incentivizing innovation, we're attracting the best solvers from around the nation to come up with new tools for visualizing the risk of serious crashes. As with other government competitions, we aim to create a vibrant community of thinkers and doers who drive revolutionary innovation. The challenge consists of 3 stages. Solvers will compete for an overall prize purse of $350,000. 4 semifinalists will compete for a portion of the $100,000 interim prize, and 2 final stage solvers will compete for a portion of the $250,000 final prize. And the timeline. The challenge launched on Thursday, June 14th, and will wrap up late December, early January. This is approximately a 6-month challenge that includes 1 month for ideation development, followed by a judging stage, 1 month for proof of concept development, and 2 months for full working analytical visualization tool development. And now into the challenge roles. Solvers. Solving for Safety invites creative minds from across the nation to participate. The business and research communities have the unique set of skills and creativity to step up and revolutionize transportation safety. The transportation safety community has welcomed innovation, but will benefit further from the perspective and skills of diverse subject areas. To foster new, novel, and innovative analytical visualization tools, we're looking for solvers and data from a variety of sectors. We encourage the participation of solvers from outside the traditional transportation safety arena who will bring innovative methods, procedures, techniques, and strategies when developing solutions. Eligible solvers are individuals or teams from the United States or U.S. territories, from the business and research communities. This includes organizations such as tech companies, analytics firms, transportation carriers, industry associations, research institutions, universities, mapping and visualization providers, and beyond. And our second role here is innovation agents. We're also interested in stimulating the integration of new or private sector data sources into the solvers tools. Innovation agents are companies and organizations interested in providing real-world knowledge, guidance, insights, issues, and data to solvers, especially those new to the transportation safety space. We'll provide a public listing of all organizations and companies who identify themselves as innovation agents. This listing will provide a brief description and contact information for each organization to assist solvers that are interested in talking to or partnering with innovation agents for the challenge. We'll list 2 types of challenge innovation agents, technical assistance and data. Technical assistance agents can provide interested solvers with knowledge, guidance, insight, and issues related to transportation safety. These agents may be able to provide technical assistance related to key safety issues impacting their members or employees, transportation safety techniques, transportation system characteristics, users and operations, approaches from other industries and sectors. And the second type, data innovation agents. These can provide interested solvers with access to data or analytic techniques that can be used in the analytical visualization tools. Use of a wide variety of data is encouraged to gain insights into reducing fatalities and serious injuries on the U.S. road and rail systems. Our innovation agents will have the opportunity to explain their expertise and capacity to interested solvers who will be designing tools that can provide useful in furthering the innovation agents or other users' efforts to reduce fatalities and serious injuries. Innovation agents providing data access will benefit from national recognition and highlight of their data asset, and the exploration and testing of their data by solvers for use by the transportation safety community. Solvers are encouraged to seek support from innovation agents to strengthen their individual or team expertise. Innovation agents may register their support through the challenge by signing up on the website. A list of current innovation agents will be updated on the official challenge website as well. Now into the frequently asked questions section. This is our first time hosting Solving for Safety, and since the launch, we've had a few questions come in regarding the mechanics, eligibility, and intellectual property. On the call with us today is Irva Coxwell from the Challenge legal team. She's going to help us digest the eligibility and intellectual property topics, and then we'll address some of the mechanic questions. At the end, you'll have more time for questions and answers. So, Irva, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jordan. So just as a general overview, as Jordan mentioned, in order to be eligible for participation in the challenge, you are restricted as to being, if you're a company, you need to be a U.S.-based company. And what that means is that in the case of a private entity, you are incorporated and maintain a primary place of business in the United States or U.S. territory. And as far as individuals go, what that means is if you are participating as an individual or individual singly or in a group, you have to be a citizen or permanent resident of the United States or U.S. territory. If you are an employee of another federal entity, you cannot participate in this challenge while acting within the scope of your employment. But if you are a federal entity and you would like to participate while acting outside of the scope of your employment, we would recommend that you consult with your ethics officials to determine whether that is possible. So those are kind of some of the basic restrictions on eligibility, that you must be based in the U.S., a U.S. citizen, or have a primary place of business in the U.S. Do we have some questions coming in right now?
There's one asking, do all team entities need to be headquartered in the U.S.?
What is meant by all team entities?
We're asking, is it all team members or just the prime?
So every team member. So if you look at the notice of the opportunity here on page 27825 in the section on eligibility rules for participation in the competition, it states that in the case of an individual, whether participating singly or in a group, that individual shall be a citizen or permanent resident of the United States or a U.S. territory. And as far as entities go, for private entities, every private entity shall be incorporated in and maintain a primary place of business in the United States or U.S. territory. So every member of a team will have to show that they are a citizen or permanent resident of the United States, and every entity shows that must show that it is based in the United States.
We do have a question. Does that include subcontractors?
If the subcontractor would be playing a major role and would be a primary member of the solver team, if they're a team member, then that subcontractor would have to meet the eligibility requirements individually. So as a member of the group, whether the subcontractor is an entity, it would need to be based in the U.S. If the subcontractor was an individual, as a member of the team, that individual would need to meet the individual membership requirements, and so they would need to be a permanent resident or citizen of the United States.
So I think you addressed this one before when talking about the company, but the question is, if participating as a company, does all the team members need to be U.S. citizens?
If you're participating as a company and you are offering a team, each member, whether participating singly or in a group, has to be a citizen or permanent resident of the United States or U.S. territory. So every member of the team for that particular company would need to be either a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident.
And then I'm seeing one asking, are cities, states, and MPOs eligible? I think that this one's asking, maybe we can address the funding here.
Right. So if you are a non-federal entity, you would have to determine whether you can, receive federal funding. There's no restriction on non-federal entities participating, but you should just check whether you can be a recipient of these federal funds in this context.
Great, and it looks like we're starting to get some questions about the intellectual property. Do you mind giving an overview of that?
Okay, sure. In the notice of the challenge opportunity, there is a section at the very end that discusses intellectual property of submissions. And basically the general overview is that as a participant in the challenge, if you become a semi-finalist, as part of your acceptance of that prize, you are granting DOT basically the right to an unrestricted use of the data that is part of the submission, the product that's part of the submission, and you're granting DOT those rights for any purpose whatsoever, commercial or otherwise. And DOT will not have to come back to you for further approval or for payment on how it uses the data that you provided as part of your submission. So you are granting the government unlimited rights to basically use your submission and to modify it, to make a derivative work with it, also to commingle your submission with other data that you do not own, and also if DOT produces a new thing that is a combination of your data and other data that you do not own or do not produce, then that new thing would also be available to DOT for unlimited use.
Great, so we can certainly field some more of these questions and we can take some more. Oh, well, here's one. Does that mean that DOT expects full rights to commercial products used?
DOT expects full rights to the submission. If the submission contains a commercial product within it, what you basically are doing in submitting this to DOT is you're essentially saying that you have the right to hand over the rights of that product to DOT for unlimited use. So you would have to make sure that, if your tool also relies on another tool, that you have the right to hand that over to DOT for unlimited use.
This is great. So we can certainly address some more of these questions in the questions and answers section at the end of the presentation. And we can also address these by email. But I did want to get into some of the other FAQs. And Irva, this was fantastic. I know that I myself have a hard time digesting legal terms, so it is so great to have you on the call with us.
You're welcome.
So we have some questions about the topic areas are examples, the mechanics, resources, roles, and the submission. So as far as examples, we have questions asking if we can provide examples of other data visualization tools that we like or we expect as a successful entry. So again, this is our first time doing Solving for Safety, so we don't have submission examples to give you all. And we also don't want to box you in at the same time. We really want you to be as innovative as possible with this. So you show us what you have. And then as far as mechanics, asking if if the proposals can focus only in one area, or do they have to address both? So the proposal, there's a safety focus area. There's 3 safety focus areas that you can focus in, and you can choose one or all. It really depends on your tool that you're developing there. And as far as using advanced techniques, please use the most innovative technique that you have capacity to use. And then as far as resources, we have questions asking about data sets that are available. On our website, on the challenge website, there are data and models that have been recommended by the DOT safety experts, some of which presented in our first webinar on challenge mechanics. You can find those there, and then also there are resources available to you all through the innovation agents, and their contact information is on the challenge website as well. And as far as roles, we have questions asking about the difference between innovation agents and solvers. We went over this in some previous slides there. So solvers are the ones that are actually participating in the challenge. They are the ones that are submitting their ideation and competing for prizes. Whereas innovation agents are supporting solvers. They have a resource that they think can help other people participate in this challenge. They aren't competing directly with the solvers, so they aren't co-solvers on the teams. Rather, they're support. They offer resources to the solvers, so they don't compete for prizes. They're just there for extra insight, guidance, knowledge, tech, software, whatever it is that can help to make these ideations as innovative as possible. And pairing with an innovation agent isn't required. Because this challenge is open to a diverse set of groups, we're offering this to those inside and outside of the transportation sector, to traditional and non-traditional roles. So we expect that there's going to be some knowledge gaps there with transportation safety knowledge. So we believe that the innovation agents can help us fill in those gaps, whether it's with tech or with knowledge or insight. So we do encourage reaching out to them. As far as the submission, it is due on July 31st at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. There is nothing you have to do to register for the challenge outside of submitting your ideation. The ideation will serve as your registration for the challenge. And you are certainly welcome to submit more than one ideation if you have the capacity to do that. And if you're an innovation agent, you are also, actually if you're an innovation agent or a solver, you are welcome to serve in both roles if you have the capacity. We think that that's really fantastic that you want to solve for safety, and you also want to help other fellow solvers solve for safety. So you are welcome to serve in both roles. And as far as the deadline, that's the deadline we're holding to, and I do want to remind you that the burden for this first stage, we hope that it's light. Again, that is a 10-page maximum, but again, maximum. You can certainly do this in 4 pages. And again, we'll get more refined as you move through the stages as a semifinalist. So I hope that that's addressed some of the FAQs that we have going on out there. And of course, you're always welcome to send more questions to solveforsafety@dot.gov. That's solve the number 4 safety@dot.gov. So on to the introduction section here. As mentioned previously, solvers are encouraged to seek support from innovation agents to strengthen their individual or team expertise. We're lucky to have on the call with us today several of the challenge innovation agents. In a moment, you'll hear a brief description of the resource they are supporting solvers with to solve for safety. You can find contact information for the organizations on the challenge website on the innovation agent page. A few groups were unable to join us today, so I'll begin with a short description on their behalf. First up, we have the AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety. This group is a not-for-profit, publicly supported charitable research and education organization dedicated to saving lives by preventing traffic crashes and reducing injuries when crashes occur. They've been saving lives through research and education for 70 years now. Their expertise is in vulnerable populations domain, older and teen drivers in particular, and high-risk driving behaviors, including alcohol and drug-impaired driving, distracted driving, and drowsy driving. So again, that's the AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety. Next up, we have Diagramics. Diagramics is a provider of IoT data visualization and interactive media visualization solutions. Diagramics' animated dashboards use animation to show the user how conditions or performance have changed over time. Diagramics' Operations Control Center is a multi-screen visualization solution that delivers a visual concerto performed by a group of synchronized animated dashboards. They have a Visio-style graphical designer that can be used to compose interactive data-aware diagrams that depict road intersections, city plans, internal sensors inside a truck, and etc. Again, that's Diagramics. And Kyle has a list here of groups that are on the phone with us today. So again, if you're an innovation agent on the phone, you'll have to unmute your audio there. So first up, Mark, are you on the line there? Mark from Alteryx.
I am. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Hi, thanks, Jordan. Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Croto, and I lead the Department of Transportation team at Alteryx. So to give you a quick summary of what we do, Alteryx is the only quick-to-implement self-service data analytics platform that allows data scientists and citizen users alike to break barriers to insight by creating an intuitive and comprehensive self-service experience. We are in the epicenter of the self-service market and are the only platform that combines data prep, data discovery, advanced analytics, business intelligence together, which is why Gartner has named Alteryx a leader in data science and machine learning platforms. We look forward to helping anybody who is interested in submitting.
All right. Thanks, Mark. And next we have Eric Perry. Are you on the line? We have American Traffic Safety Services Association.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Eric Perry. I'm the Senior Technical Advisor for the American Traffic Safety Services Association, also known as ATSA. ATSA's mission is to advance roadway safety and move towards 0 deaths on our nation's roadway, and we believe this challenge will help that cause. We are the industry leader in roadway safety infrastructure with more than 1,500 member companies across the United States. These member companies design, manufacture, and install the roadway safety devices we see on the roadside. We can offer technical assistance and guidance by connecting challenge solvers with our resources related to roadway safety, work zones, guardrail, traffic signage, barriers, and traffic patrol devices. If contacted as an innovation agent, ATSA can help connect the solver with an internal member of our team or a technical contact at one of our member companies that will be able to assist them in developing their challenge solutions. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Eric. Next up we have Brian Chandler from DKS Associates. Brian, are you on the line?
Safety at DKS Associates. DKS is a transportation firm out here on the West Coast. We're focused on traffic safety, operations, design, planning, and smart mobility. I work in our Seattle offices. We have offices up and down the coast, also in Boise, Idaho, and Austin, Texas. And I think we can help you as a solver bounce some of your ideas in data visualization off somebody with real-world experience in traffic safety. I've been a public agency employee and also consulted to public agencies. And so I feel like I have a pretty good feel, and our staff has a pretty good feel of what public agencies actually need and want, and ways that the tools that you all create could really help them. So we'd be really happy to help just kind of hear from you or bounce ideas back and forth. If you wanted to run a prototype or idea by us, I'd be happy to chat with you, talk through that, or see anything that you've created and go that way. So yeah, no, I forget exactly how the contact information works, but I plan to go ahead and just post mine into the chat box if that's okay.
All right. Thanks, Brian.
Cool. Thank you.
Absolutely. Next up, we have Shane Glass from the Google Cloud Public Data Set. Shane, are you on the line?
I am. How are we doing today, everyone? Good. So, like you said, my name is Shane Glass. I'm the program manager for our Cloud Public Data Set program. So what we do is we host copies of high-value public data sets so that our users can come on it, and it just makes it easier for users to find them, and it kind of puts them all in one place. But I think one of the biggest things that we can offer is making the data available in BigQuery, which is our serverless SQL implementation. So that makes it a lot easier for users to find data, to subset data, and to do kind of an initial analysis in the data. But it also makes it easier for you to bring your own data to the platform as well and join it in with some of these public data sets. So we're working with the DOT right now to get some of these data sets transferred over, including the TMOS data, the FARS data, and I'm hopeful, although I can't promise that we'll have some of the EMS data as well. So that's a couple things that we're working on as well. Of course, all of our products include connection out to, or excuse me, BigQuery at least includes the connection out to Tableau for data visualization, but it also includes access to Data Studio, which is Google Cloud's free data visualization tool. And the nice thing about Data Studio is it's super easy to work with. It can be embedded and it's totally web-based, so there's no need for anyone to have any additional software installed. You can just send a link or embed it, and anyone with an internet connection should be able to access that. So, of course, those are kind of a couple of the data sets that we're interested in hosting and that we're hoping to host so that users can come on and access. Of course, BigQuery does come with its free tier of 1 terabyte of queries a month. So I think in a lot of cases that seems to be sufficient for users. If there's any other data sets you're interested in, I'll drop my email in the chat box here. Feel free to reach out directly. If you have any other questions or any other interest in any of our other products, our AI or ML products that you can connect out to BigQuery as well, please let me know. Of course, I can't get into too much detail, but with our Cloud Next conference next week, we have some really, really exciting announcements coming as well that I think will be really pertinent that we can follow up on in a couple weeks as well. So thanks for the opportunity, everyone, and we're looking forward to supporting everyone in any way we can.
All right. Thanks, Jane. That was great. Next up, we have Jerry Spears with the Montana Association of Counties. Jerry, are you on the line?
Hey, this is Jerry. You can hear me now. Great. This is Jerry Spears at the Montana Association of Counties, and we insure most of the counties in the state of Montana, and I'm the Trust Operations Director. And what we have is expertise in this environment, rural environment, for cities, counties, and schools as to types of crashes, locations of crashes, and what happens in a rural environment, because sometimes us folks in the rural environment are forgotten by the urbanites, and so we bring a real rural bent to the situation. So if you really want to probe into that environment, we'll be here to help you between our many years of experience, our data, and some input on the types of crashes that occur in a rural environment, including we do hit a lot of animals up in these rural areas. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Jerry. Next up, we have Dia Gaynor from the National Association of State EMS Officials. Dia, are you on the line?
Thank you, and good afternoon. I'm the Executive Director of the National Association of State EMS Officials, or the acronym's pronounced NASEMSO. Our appeal to solvers is for those who are thinking about addressing post-crash response, recognition that motor vehicle incident-related victims are not all fatal at the scene, and that our members are the state government agencies that regulate ambulance services. They also engineer and improve state trauma systems. So use of helicopters, access to trauma centers, make a statistically significant difference in patient outcome. So the serious crash victim who's hurt in one location versus the identical serious crash location hurt in another location may have completely different outcomes based on the availability of ground EMS agencies and their clinical sophistication, helicopters, and trauma centers. There are databases associated with each of these entities, Almost every state mandates EMS data reporting from the ambulance services, and every state has a trauma registry. At the national level, there's also the National EMS Information System. The most recent complete year had 30 million records from ambulance services across the state, as well as inventories at the state level of emergency care resources, such as helicopters, trauma centers, et cetera. We'd be happy to connect any solvers who want to address the post-crash phase and assist them in their ventures. Thank you.
Thanks, Dia. That's great. Next up, we have Kaylin Hill from the National Governors Association. Kaylin, are you on the line?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kaylin Hill with the National Governors Association, and we're excited to be considered innovation agent and eager to assist solvers in strengthening transportation safety efforts. NGA is a bipartisan organization that directly serves our nation's governors, and NGA has a unique perspective and access to the states by working directly with governors, policy advisors, and state officials who are driving policies within the states. We work on issues of transportation and traffic safety in the states in several ways. We produce white papers and issue briefs on some of the pressing challenges. For example, we just issued a paper on autonomous vehicles and some of the opportunities and challenges that states face as this new technology develops. We provide technical assistance to the states, and with the support of the CDC, we're hosting a series of learning lab meetings with roughly 10 states around some of the strategies to improving their statewide traffic safety as well as data linkage initiatives. We also provide ongoing support to our networks of governors advisors, and that includes public safety commissioners and secretaries, governors, transportation advisors, and governors, criminal justice policy advisors. And lastly, we have supported Governor Sandoval of Nevada over the last year in hosting a series of summits and workshops with the states, as well as issuing policy roadmaps throughout his chair's initiatives, which was entitled Ahead of the Curve, Innovation Governors. So we're really excited about this opportunity to potentially assist solvers, and happy to help in any way we can. Thanks.
Great. Thanks, Kaylin. Next up, we have Michael Donofrio from Tyler Technologies, or you all may know them as Socrata. Michael, are you on the line?
I am. Good afternoon. My name is Mike Donofrio. I'm the director of the federal team here at Socrata. We're now a division of Tyler Technologies. Socrata is a data as a service platform, and so what we currently do for the USDOT is service their open data platform, data.transportation.gov. That has a host of federal DOT data sets, all of which are API enabled, which we think will enable the solvers to create sustainable solutions. On the state and local side of the house, a number of folks use this for data and open data. Around this, we have Utah, Hawaii, a number of cities and counties that use this for Vision Zero type projects, and so we have an abundance of data on our platform that could be helpful for this initiative. Part of our goal for this initiative is to add more data to our data catalog, which would all be machine readable, API enabled, and we think it'll enable the solvers to have a uniform access point for data to make those solutions sustainable over the long term. So we look forward to adding more of the data sets that were referenced in the project in general, and certainly welcome anybody who needs access to authoritative data in an API-enabled format.
Thanks, Michael. Next up, we have Matthew Enders from the Washington State Department of Transportation. Matthew, are you on the line?
Yes, thanks. Hi, my name is Matthew Enders. I work for the Washington State Department of Transportation in our local programs division, and I oversee our safety programs with local agencies. Our team has been working with cities and counties in the development of safety plans. Those safety plans are data-driven and use risk factors to help prioritize locations for safety improvements. We provide technical assistance to help those agencies review their crash data and to prioritize the crash types and causes to address. We also help them to identify risk factors and give them feedback on their plans as they draft them. And so if you're interested in public agency perspective or in some technical assistance as you go through and identify those kind of factors and things in your process, we would be happy to provide that help for you.
Great, Matthew. And next we have Noam Mato from Waycare. Noam, are you on the line? All right, as we figure out Noam's audio there, we can go with our next innovation agent, Alberto Nieto from Esri. Are you on the line?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Excellent. My name is Alberto Nieto. I'm a solution engineer for Esri, and Esri provides ArcGIS, a comprehensive GIS platform used by most federal and state government agencies. We believe a geographic approach can often be the key to understanding the world and identifying feasible solutions to problems like the ones identified by this challenge. And GIS is well suited to data visualization. We have a suite of capabilities to support this, but it goes beyond simply putting points on a map. To visualize, we support an analytical process as a discipline and have resources to help the solvers produce impacting and defensible outputs. In terms of our platform, we have the traditional desktop clients that do heavy spatial analysis, but we also have a web GIS solution that just requires a login. We have configurable web applications to help create dashboards such as story maps, but they also support analytical processes by your end users. And we have developer APIs such as our JavaScript API for front-end applications and Python API for heavy analysis, ML, and AI integration. So we're excited to see solvers and the U.S. Department of Transportation go through this challenge. I'll put my contact information on the chat.
Thanks, Alberto. We'll try again with Noam here from Waycare. Are you on the line?
Hey everyone, hopefully you can hear me. Noam here from Waycare, CEO of Waycare. We're a smart mobility company that is working primarily in the traffic management space, but also with first responders, leveraging deep learning technologies and predictive analytics for both real-time traffic optimization and incident management in the world of traffic safety, but also use of deep learning for predictive analytics and proactive preventative measures that relate both to in the world of traffic management, but of course also in terms of traffic safety and working with police enforcement and other agencies relevant to that area. So to that point, I think we're really excited for this challenge when we kind of first saw it come about. Very topical and relevant, and I think that as agents, there are a lot of things that we can do just bringing from our expertise of working with several DOTs and both city level across the U.S. On the technical level of how do you bring in not only the existing infrastructure and data points that come in from the city, but how do you fuse that? We work with in-vehicle data from multiple data sources, from the smartphone all the way down into the vehicle. How do you bring that into a tool, an analytical tool that leverages the kind of the newest AI capabilities for actionable insights, which I think part of the goal here is really improve traffic safety, incident reduction, and pedestrian safety. So that's where I think we can provide help to some of the solvers in terms of the technical know-how and assistance in building some of these systems.
All right, thanks, Noam. So again, you can find the full listing of our innovation list here on the challenge website. Thank you all for being on the call today and giving us a look into the resource that you're providing solvers. This is fantastic, as this is an issue that affects everyone. So the creativity that you all bring to the table is phenomenal, and the insights that you're providing to solvers is just great. We do have a few other innovation agents that weren't on the call today. That is Streetlight data, they bring real-world travel patterns to light, just as streetlights illuminate roadways at night. Streetlight data creates analytics that shine a light on mobility behavior. And then we have Munich Reinsurance America. It was founded in 1917 and is one of the largest reinsurers in the United States. And then we also have ABLE, which is recognized on the world stage for agile approach, innovative thinking, and inquisitive minds. So again, you can find all of their information on our challenge website. And we do have a few moments here for questions and answers. So we can take additional questions that have come up as the presentation has gone on. You can submit those in the chat pod there and we'll get to them. And of course, if you would like to be follow-up after the challenge, you can submit those to solveforsafety@dot.gov. So we'll wait around here for a moment to get some questions.
While you guys are preparing your questions, I just wanted to address some questions that have already come in. Some solvers have asked whether the IP rights section of the notice, whether that grants DOT ownership of the product or the tool, whether it grants DOT unlimited access. To be clear, this does not grant DOT ownership under the terms of the Federal Register notice. It states that you would be granting DOT a right to unlimited use of the tool, and that is different than granting DOT ownership of the tool. So typically how this would work is that you would retain ownership, and if you intended to use that tool for other reasons, your granting of DOT a right to unlimited use would not infringe on your right to use that. However, you would be granting DOT substantial rights to use that product and also combine it with other tools and use those for pretty much any purpose, any government-related purpose, and also for commercial purposes.
All right, so while we'll let some more questions come in here, I just wanted to give a friendly reminder that ideations are due on Tuesday, July 31st, 2018 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. So go ahead and mark your calendars and set your alarms. I'll be the one there waiting for your innovative ideations to come in. And here's a question. Do we need to submit the proposal with the innovation agents as one team? So you will submit your ideation as the solver team, and there will be a space there on the application for you to let us know which innovation agents you intend on working with. Then this question, for the final product, is that the case study or scalable product? If you're referring to this first stage here, this is just a proposal of what you will be doing, but in reference to your scalable question there, that definitely is one of the judging criteria for the stages. So a good idea is to, while writing your proposal, have those judging criteria on hand for the first stage. And then a good forward-thinking method for developing your proposal there is to go ahead and read the judging criteria for stage 2 and 3 as well, so that it's more easy to address those for the next stages as you advance. And then we have a question here. Are you required to work with an innovation agent? You're not required. It is recommended, as you may have some gaps on your team, whether it be you need additional transportation safety knowledge insight, if you need guidance, if you need tech or software or data. The innovation agents are really going to be your stronghold there. So we do recommend that you work with them. And we do see this first stage as we know the deadline is coming. And we want the burden to be light, but for you to consider who you'll be working with. You know, in this first stage, you won't be working as closely, but as you advance in the challenge, working with the innovation agents will become a closer relationship there. Then we have a question here. How can we reassure our database vendor that building this tool will allow them to make money and do something for the greater good? How would you frame it? So for the greater good, I like that. We are solving for safety, and as you all know, transportation safety is something that impacts us all. It's our family, our friends, our colleagues, neighbors. So we do think that working on this is for the greater good. But maybe your question is there in reference to the IP again? Yes.
So the question is, how would you ensure profitability for your vendor? I'm not sure that we can speak to how or if your data vendor would be able to remain profitable after participating in this. Since we are the federal government and the purpose of this challenge is to solve a problem and not for any profit-related reasons, we haven't, that's not one of our considerations. However, if it is a consideration of yours, I think you should say that appropriately before deciding whether you want to participate in the challenge.
Yeah, and I see that we're coming up here on 2 o'clock, or actually it is 1 minute past 2, so I do want to be mindful of everyone's time here and provide this contact information on here again. So one of the goals of the challenge is to empower others to raise awareness about and to take up the quest of improving road and rail user safety, an issue that impacts all lives. Whether you're participating in the challenge as a solver, supporting as an innovation agent, or interested in the results, solving for safety has a role for everyone. You all can help us continue to cultivate a culture of safety now and throughout the challenge and beyond by contributing to the conversation on social media using the hashtag #SolveForSafety, and again, that's the number 4. If you have any questions following the webinar, please reach out to us at solveforsafety@dot.gov, and we'll look at the questions that are still coming in here on the chat pod and address those outside of the webinar. So if you do have a question, we will get to it. I just want to be mindful of the time again. I do want to thank you all for joining us today for the Challenge Introductions webinar. And again, to the innovation agents who took the time to give us more information about the resource that they have available so that they can support solvers with the resources to solve for safety. So thank you again. And this concludes the Solving for Safety Visualization Challenge webinar, Challenge Introductions. Enjoy the rest of your day.